Chapter 7. It was Saturday, and Anna and Charles were on their way to the library for the Reading with Rober session. It had been a little over a week since the tiny Yorkie had come to live with Charles and his family, and the truth was, the Petersons had just about habit with Princess. Dad said that Princess was a good teacher, a little too good, when it came to the way she had taught Buddy to beg for special treats. Lizzie was sick about Princess always having to be in the center of attention, and Mom started moving Princess's palace all over the house, from the living room where she napped during the day, to Charles' room where she slept at night, to the porch where she had a habit as a resting place during outdoor playtime. The Bean was acting cranky because he wasn't getting enough attention time. Bunny was always acting naughty for some reason. As for Charles still liked the Princess a lot, but he had admitted he had never wished he'd seen the list. He never believed how complicated it could be able to take care of one tiny puppy. Charles seemed like it had been spending almost most of his free time making sure that Princess was happy. Now every Saturday when he had thought he might be enjoying a little break from taking care of Princess, he was not. True, he was with Aunt Amanda. True, they were on this way to the library, but only this time Bowser was not the only dog in the back of Aunt Amanda's van. This time Princess was there soon. Tucked inside her pink palace, Princess was coming to be a part of reading with Rober for another scene. For one thing, she hadn't been part of the training program. For another, it'd be too distracting for the kids to have another dog on the hand. No, Princess was just along for the ride. It was cool enough outside so she'd be safe waiting out in the van, as long as it was parked in the shades with the windows cracked open. Charles and Amanda were in the library. You should never leave a dog inside of a car with the windows up. The inside of a closed-up car can get way too hot for a dog, even whenever it's not hot outside. After reading with Rober was over, Charles and Aunt Amanda were going to take Princess over to Bowser's backyard for some playtime with the other dogs. All of this would give the rest of the Petersons, including Buddy, a much well-needed break. Charles got a break too. When he wasn't at reading with Rober, he would not have to think about how to take care of Princess. He would not have to pay attention to picking out a bow that matched today's t-shirt, fashion part 1, or figuring out which leech went with which collar, fashion part 2. All he had to do was help Aunt Amanda. When they got to the library, Nathaniel was already laying there. He was happy to see them. Even if he didn't run over to throw his arms around Bowser, and once again, Charles ended up doing most of the reading, and Nathaniel still seemed to be a bit nervous about sitting next to the big dog. So he sat on Aunt Amanda's lap while Charles sat next to Bowser, stroking the dog's long, silky ears while he read. Charles knows Nathaniel was watching, and he can tell Nathaniel really wanted to be petting a dog, too. The little boy wasn't just so sure about Bowser yet. All the other kids really seemed to be into reading to dogs. Simon lay down on the floor with one arm over Seek, who was curled up next to him. A girl with braids sat against a bookcase with the corgi's head in her lap. Pearl, the playful miniature poodle, loved being read to so much that she actually sat still. Her bright little eyes focused on the face of the young boy who was reading to her, and a huge St. Bernard mix was being read to a pair of two boys who had run just right over the moment they were assigned to read with him. They laid on top of the Norman's dog if he were a big furry rug, showing him pictures as they each took turns turning each page. Charles loved reading to Bowser. He was used to reading with dogs, especially because he read the funnies to Buddy every Sunday. Lately, Buddy's favorite comic was Blondie. Charles did silly voice for all the characters. Plus, he would describe what Dagwood was wearing, like pajamas with pictures of donuts of them, or what Dagwood was eating, like 10-story sandwiches that were way too big for anybody's mouth. Buddy always wagged his tail when he heard about the sandwiches, especially as he loved that part. That morning at the library, Charles was so happy of reading to Bowser, he lost track of time. He was so surprised when Nancy announced it was time to finish up to the day. Nathan now helped them stack up their books. They brought them over to the library desks, and they locked out with Harry, Seek, Aunt Amanda, and Bowser. When Aunt Amanda got back to the band, she asked if Charles could take Princess out for a manner. Since the puppy had probably been waiting so long, she's probably bored and lonely, said Aunt Amanda. I hope she hasn't been barking her head off the whole time while we were inside. Oh my gosh, you have another dog in there? Harry gasped. He already put Seek into the backseat of his own car, and Nathan now was busy buckling himself in. Let's see! Charles hesitated. He wondered if Harry would laugh at Princess in her I'm Beautiful t-shirt. But he couldn't think of a good excuse for hiding her, so Aunt Amanda opened the back of the van. Charles reached inside Princess's pink palace and clipped her pink rhinestone-studded leash onto her matching collar. He then gathered her into his room, into her arms. She hardly laid a thing, and then turned to show Harry. This is Princess, he said. He paused, trying to think of the best way to stay spoiled. But Harry jumped in before Charles could say another word. She's a Yorkie! He exclaimed. Wow, isn't she cute? He held out his arms and Charles handed Princess over. Oh, yes, you are, Harry said, nuzzling the puppy's nose. You're the cutest, Georgie. Yes, you are, and you know it too. Princess licked Harry's chin and wagged her tiny tail. The cutest? Yep, that's me. Finally, someone who understands how I'm a very, very special dog. You deserve all the doggy kisses. Now make sure just to keep that attention coming. Then Harry looked up and saw Charles staring. He grinned and shrugged. I happen to like little dogs, he said, especially Yorkies. My Aunt Maggie, that's Nathaniel's mom, loves them too. Hearing Nathaniel's name made Charles remember that little boy was waiting for his cousin. But he looked around and Nathaniel was sitting in Harry's car. Charles turned around only to find Nathaniel standing quiet as a mouse right behind him. The little boy was staring at Princess, and Charles could recognize the look in his eyes. Nathaniel found a dog he could love.